Sound Production. Production.
What's going on, guys? Welcome to today's session with your boy Abel. Super excited to be here with every single one of you guys this morning. What is going on, gang? Shout out to y'all for tuning in this morning. I hope you guys are all having a phenomenal, I'm going to move my face a little bit to the lower side. Hope you guys are all having a phenomenal morning. All right, we are literally only about 4 days away from a major holiday with Christmas. So happy holidays to every single one of you guys that are listening to my beautiful voice. Happy holidays to every single one of you guys that celebrate the holidays. And I appreciate y'all for being here with us this morning. All right. Yes. Go ahead and drop those locations in the chat, family. Go ahead and drop those locations in the chat. Let me know where you guys are plugged in from this morning. Go ahead and let me know where you guys are plugged in from. Let's see. Good morning, fam. I see we got New York City in the building. Texas, Guyana, what is up? We got Johannesburg, South Africa in the building with us this morning as well. Shout out to you guys for tuning in, fam. We got DC in the house. DC in the house. Let's take a quick look at the calendar so that we are aware of any type of news. If there's any news, guys, to come out for today, let me go ahead and just take a quick glance. Today is the 21st. It is Wednesday. Amazing. Let's see what we got here. So we do have an inflation report here for the Canadian dollar, guys, this morning, literally in about 8 minutes. Let me just double check this. I like to just double check. All right, and yeah, we do have core CPI actually getting released and CPI getting released for the Canadian dollar, guys. So that is definitely going to influence, the Canadian pairs overall. So if you guys are trading any Canadian dollar pairs this morning, please be mindful of that. That is about to get crazy. All right, we could see a lot of volatility enter the markets based off what this release actually ends up coming out as, right? So that's the one thing that we have. We do have a couple different USD news reports that come out later on in about a couple hours, an hour and a half to 2 hours, which again, depending on how you ask, right, they're important or not. This consumer confidence one might be interesting just to see what consumer confidence truly is of the overall space as a whole, because consumer confidence is pretty much another way just to gauge sentiment just from a consumer standpoint, right? And obviously, I'm very big, guys, on understanding sentiment and the importance of sentiment in these markets, because the big institutions, and I'm not really talking about more so specifically this news release, but the largest institutions, guys, like they all make decisions based off what they feel, right? The market is going to
recording in
do.
progress.
All right,
recording stopped.
All right, so sentiment is very important, right? It's something to be aware of. And yeah, it'll be interesting to see what this consumer confidence report does come out as, to see if there is any confidence in the markets or if there's still a lack of confidence as well. Right now, just since we're already on the topic, tomorrow we do also have major news, guys, for the GBP, the pound itself, right? With their GDP reports are supposed to be coming out tomorrow, which again is definitely something that's going to influence, the actual currency. Based on the actual report, based on the actual release itself. And not just that, but we also do have a GDP report as well coming out for the US dollar. I believe this is going to be the second revision of the Q3 report that actually came out. Let me just double check this real quick. All right, because if you guys weren't aware, family, GDP actually comes out with 3 different reports. Pretty much on after the main GDP comes out, they do 3 revisions after the fact, right? And this is going to be, I believe, this is the second GDP report for quarter 3. And yeah, I'm not going to get too deep into that right now, but, just be mindful, guys, that it is on the calendar for this week, right? And then obviously, on Friday, we have some data over here as well that can influence the market. But then, it's going to be holiday weekend, right? I'm probably not going to be trading at all on Friday. I normally don't trade too much on Fridays anyways. Just because, again, we are going into, now being a few days away from Christmas, so there's going to be a few different central banks that are already going to be closed on Friday, depending on what central bank it is, right? As you guys can see on the calendar, we have holidays for the UK, the New Zealand, the Australian dollar, and all that good stuff, right? So, again, I think if I do take any other trades this week, if I take them, right, which, again, I've been very light this entire month. I haven't been trading as much this entire month, right? I've been taking little jabs here and there, right? Little jabs just to give, test the market out. But for the most part, it's been very, very light trading for me overall. And it's probably going to be the same way, guys, throughout the rest of the year. Okay, so just be mindful. If I do take any trades, if I am looking at anything, and I am going to update you guys on something that I'm already currently in, right, that I spoke about last night on my actual Asian session stream with you guys, if you guys were on it. But besides that, like I said, it's going to be a very light week, very light day, very light week, depending on, what the market gives us. Right, so that's just a quick update, family, on the news, on the data that we actually are dealing with, or we will deal with for the remainder of the week. All right, let's see what we got in the building. I see we got Pensacola, Florida. All right, we got Tulsa, Oklahoma in the building. What is going on? Just clocked out of work, about to clock into these charts. You just reminded me to do my daily Instagram story saying that I'm clocked in my damn self, right? So let me go ahead and just clock in real quick. All right. It's not real until you put it on social media. That's what they like to say. All right. So let me just go ahead and just, clock in real quick. All right. Clocked in. Let me see. All right. Perfect. Let's get it. All right, so now we are officially clocked in, right? Let's see who else we got here in the building. We got Texas in the house. What is up? What is up? Beautiful morning, Big Griff. What's going on? Right, Free Zone. Shout out to you, Free Zone. What's up? Chino, Chicago in the building. Nairobi, Kenya. Moray, what's up? What's up? Appreciate y'all for tuning in with me this morning. Family, the goal for this morning in terms of likes, you guys know we always have a like goal. All right, let's go ahead and get to 100 likes. All right, let's get to 100 likes. 100 likes, sooner the better. All right, 100 likes, the sooner the better. Let's get it, let's get it, let's get it. Drop those likeys. Drop those likeys. Drop those likes. Let's get it. Let's get those likes up, family. Right? And I actually do got, a few opportunities that we could potentially look at and take advantage of. Obviously, you guys can see one here on the screen to see if, and I'll get a little bit more in depth on that as well, guys. But I do want to just go ahead and update you guys as well, on an opportunity, guys, that I spoke about last night, right? If you guys were on my Asian session last night, we actually had a couple different areas of interest that I was looking at in terms of GJ, seeing what the market can give us. My first initial area, guys, that I was interested in taking a potential play or a potential jab at the markets was at this level right here that I'm highlighting right now, right? This previous kill zone up here. And the market didn't really give us the reaction that we initially wanted to, right? In fact, I didn't even get anything that I actually wanted, right? Because if you guys were on, again, last night's call, there was something specific that I was really looking for, right? I was waiting for price to come down to this last, sell candle right here, right? This last sell to buy candle right up in here. All right, we had this last little sell-off, broke structure, and then we seen an immediate shift. All right, so we wanted to see price come back down into that area and give us a specific play, right? And we really didn't get the reaction. Price came into that level, and it just completely kept going, right? So we didn't really get what I wanted to see. And that's why, for me, I'm going to be honest, I still took the trade because I did set the pending order, all right? So I did end up taking a very small loss on this trade, right, of about 0.5%. So I lost 0.5% on that one, but I also did tell y'all, right, that if that level does not hold, this one right here, that I was going to take another jab down here at these lows, right? And I did end up taking an entry, guys, down here since I was already awake. And this GJ I'm currently actively in right now, right? So even though I took a 0.5% loss over here at this jab, I'm currently in this one, and we're doing pretty good so far. We're up around 70 pips just like that, all right? Like literally very, very quickly. And again, if you guys were on the session last night, I literally broke all this stuff down live in real time. Oh, let me go ahead and move this, right? I'm bugging out. I'm tripping, guys. I'm sorry. I had to like the screen thing on there, right? I wanted to make sure you guys understand the importance of likes, right? I want to make sure you understand the importance of likes. All right, so let me go and just re-talk about this one more time, right? So again, we were looking at this yesterday, right, in this area, right? And I didn't get the initial reaction, right? If I was actually watching this in real time, I probably would have not taken this trade, just because we didn't get the reaction we wanted to see, right? We wanted to see, again, the market come down into here, give us a nice little change of character or give us a nice little engulfing pattern, some type of entry pattern, and we didn't get that. But since I did place a pending order, I did still take the trade because I was sleeping when it happened, right? So I did end up taking a loss on this position last night for around 0.5%. But again, if you guys were on the call last night, right, I did take another entry down here, right? And this one I actually took market execution this morning, right? Like literally earlier, about an hour and a half ago, I ended up taking this position. And we're doing really well, right? We're up around 70 pips right now, which is, way more than what I already lost, right? So I lost 0.5%, but we're in profit a decent amount already, right? We're in profit around maybe a full percent, right? So I think, I know I made, that loss back, okay? Now, if you was on the call last night, you should have also been aware of this, all right? I was talking about it last night. I told you guys exactly what I wanted to look for. You know, I did take the loss up here, just being as transparent as possible with you guys. 0.5%, you know, but we're back in the money, right? We are back in the money, guys, and we're doing really, really well on this potential position here on GJ. And now it's just a matter of riding this thing out, right? But now that we actually do see this momentum going, and we did get a previous level of supply completely get taken out, this is when I roll my stops to break even, right? This is a question that I get all the time. Abel, how do you know it's time to go ahead and roll your stops to break even, right? Go ahead and remove the risk off the table. Well, for me, and there's a bunch of different ideas out there, right? There's a bunch of different ways to do it, right? But for me, guys, my thing is I needed to see, right? I needed to see the market itself go ahead and break a previous area of supply, okay? So since we had this area up here, guys, where the market actually ended up selling off, in fact, like this area right here probably would have been the one that I should have actually been paying attention to, right? This little area of supply that was created right here, right where we ended up, you know, finding that level, and then the market just ultimately sent price lower, breaking all levels of structure, right? So once we close above this level right here, right, the area that created the break of structure to the downside, that is telling me it is time to roll my stops to break even. Okay, so that is exactly what I did. At this point, this is now a risk-free trade, and I can't lose on it. All right, so everything else that comes from it now is just a matter of seeing what the market does end up giving us. Right, but that is just me, again, being transparent with you guys about what happened yesterday, because we did talk about it last night, and just updating you guys on how this actually went. And it would have been the same thing, guys, right? If I would have took 2 L's on this position, right, because, again, I took a loss here. If I would have took a loss here, I would still be coming on here telling you guys exactly what happened, right? You guys should know me by now, especially if you've been learning from me, you know, long enough. I'm transparent, right? I'm probably one of the most transparent traders here on YouTube by far. Right, I talk to you guys about every single thing that I look for, right? I talk to you guys about the wins, the losses, right? Why things happened, you know, if there's logical reasons for that. You know, so hopefully you guys are, you know, really gaining just from my transparency, right? So, yeah, I am in this position. I did take 1 loss attempting up here off of this play here. It did not work out. Lost 0.5%. But we took a re-entry this morning down here at these levels, and the market has been going really, really well for us, all right? Up around 70 pips, and now it's just a matter of letting this thing play out. The next thing that I would do, guys, now in terms of trade management perspective, all right, is if we're able to go ahead and break above this next kill zone, right, which is going to be this area right here where I initially took my first loss at, if we're able to see price break above that level, that is when I will continue to manage this position, right? That's when I will go from a position that is risk-free, and I will move my stop loss in profit some more. All right, I will move my stop loss in profit some more, probably up to this 159.700 level, right back up to this level of structure, and I will just continue to monitor the trade in that standpoint. All right, so if we break this kill zone, I'm moving my stops. If we come all the way up to this high as well, we end up breaking this kill zone, guess what? I will continue to roll my stops. Right, that is a trailing stop technique that I like to use, right? I like to make sure that I'm moving my stop loss either, first of all, to risk-free and then to in profit as we are smashing previous levels of supply, okay? Keep that in mind, guys, right? Remember what I'm saying. As we are breaking previous levels of supply in an uptrend, once we break it and we close above it, it's time to go ahead and manage your position, okay? So many people, guys, focus on risk management, which is important, but risk management is more so just talking about how much you're risking for that trade, like literally, right? Just how much you're risking for that position, for that opportunity. But money management, trade management are also very important, right? Like it's up there with risk management. Understanding how much to risk goes hand in hand with knowing how to manage your position throughout the course of the actual trade itself so that you are doing it correctly. Right, and that's what I'm trying to teach you guys right now is knowing how to manage your position. All right, so that's exactly how I'm managing my position. Every time we break a previous level of supply, okay, we roll our stops higher into profit now at this point. All right, I hope, does that make sense, guys? Go ahead and drop some 3s in the chat if that's making some sense. All right, because this is an active trade that I'm currently in right now, which, again, we spoke about last night, right? So it shouldn't have come to as a surprise to a lot of you guys that were on the call last night. And now it's just a matter of seeing what comes from it, right? That's literally it, okay? So that's where we're at with this, guys, right? But let's go ahead and see what else the market has got for us today. All right, I'm just gonna let that thing play out now, right? But let's see what else we got here. All right, let's go ahead and again, family. The goal for today in terms of likes, one more time, right? Let's go ahead and get 100 likes, 100 likes, 100 likes. If we can get 100 likes, that would be absolutely phenomenal, right? Absolutely phenomenal, right? But let's see who else we got here in the building. All right, I see we got Bahamas, we got Arkansas. What's up? Shout out to you guys out there in New Jersey. Linda, I appreciate you. Right, welcome, welcome, welcome. Let's see, beautiful. Yeah, it definitely is beautiful, Jude, for sure. All right, let's see what else we got here. We got SMC NAS. We can take a look at these other pairs as well, guys. As we allow this to play out, we'll let this thing go ahead and do its thing. All right, we got Italy in the building. What is going on? Canada, Montreal. What's up? What's up, family? Shout out to you guys for tuning in with me today. And let's go ahead and take a look at NAS, right? Since that is one that was already requested. And let's go ahead and see what we can potentially look for in terms of NAS, right? Now, I am going to be, again, keeping my eye on from the bigger perspective to see what the market has ultimately done. And all we did, guys, is that we ended up coming down into this kill zone down here, or this area of demand, right? And now we're starting to see, some type of, a reaction from these levels, right? Previous day's candle was what? A nice little doji type of candle, right? This current daily candle, guys, is what we're looking at now. We did end up spiking above, previous day's high. But are we going to be able to sustain this and continue to break above it? Right, because just spiking above it is not enough, right? Previous day's high. We actually want to see a closure above that thing, right? And we'll see, right? As we go down a lower time frame, we'll be able to identify if there is a potential for that to happen. So let's start going to lower time frame now, right? 4-hour time frame. What do I see? Right, the first thing that stands out for me, guys, down here is how this price action is looking. Right, first thing that stands out for me is looking at how we're reacting from these levels right here. Right, you see this one bullish candle on the 4-hour candle. Right, there's one bullish 4-hour. At one point, guys, this was a very bearish candle. All right, but it completely broke previous 4 hours of candle, and then in fact, it didn't just break the previous low, but it broke the previous low and still had a lot of buying momentum to go ahead and close above it. Right, so that in itself is telling me that there's probably a lot more bullish momentum in this market than you would think. Right, so that's just the next thing that I look for. Right, all right, what else can happen? What has candlestick done inside of this area of demand? So now let's go lower time frame once again. All right, let's go ahead and continue working our way down to really come up with a potential play or a potential bias. Right, so now that we're here on the 2-hour, I'll go straight to the 1-hour time frame. Right, so 1-hour time frame, what do we see? Right, 1-hour time frame, guys, very similar play here. Right, look at this. Right, we had, again, this previous 1-hour candle that ended up breaking previous candles. Right, we ended up spiking below all of these candlesticks right here, all these previous 1-hour candles, and we ended up still closing as a bullish engulfing. Things like that, guys, is very telling. All right, now we are at a level of resistance. All right, so yeah, the market doesn't have to necessarily just smash right through that, but we are at an area, guys, where we could start to see some type of play. Now, whether the market wants to come back down to a little bit of a lower area, that's a potential play. That's a potential opportunity. All right, so let's go ahead and continue working our way down now. Right, now we're on the 15-minute time frame. 15-minute time frame. Let's see what we got here. Right, we can have the market just giving us, this type of just a correction pattern right here. Overall, we're really not doing too much. But what we did see is this. All right, look at this. We had, again, the market come down, create this very aggressive selling pressure. Right, this was a previous area of supply. Right, from this standpoint right here. All right, let me go ahead and go to even a lower time frame. Right, this whole area right here, guys, right, was a previous level of supply. It was a previous level of supply. Right, how do we know that? Because a lot of selling pressure entered the market at these levels, which caused for breaks of structure. Okay, so that is an area, guys, that holds weight. This level of supply holds weight because of the reaction, because of what market did, because of how we actually played off of that. So that's telling in itself, all right, that we've seen the market shift above that. Now, the next thing that I want to look for is, all right, cool, we got all that. Now, Abel, where can we potentially look for potential? Because everything, in my opinion, guys, and I could be completely wrong, right? I always like to just, throw that little disclaimer out there. I am human. I could be completely wrong. But based off everything I'm looking at right now, I would be probably looking for more so a bullish opportunity here, for NAS, right? But it's a matter of now waiting for the best area to take advantage of. Like, where can we actually go ahead and get involved in? Well, the next thing I like to do, guys, I like to go to smaller time frame, right? So now we're on the smallest ones, right? Now we're on the 5-minute, 2-minute, 1-minute time frame. And now I'm looking for evidence somewhere inside of this big push up, right? Because this big move, guys, is what ultimately caused the break or the failure of that previous area of supply, right? So somewhere in here, right, there's evidence of where we could be potentially looking for a potential entry to mimic a similar move. Now, what are we looking for? We're looking for things like inefficient price action, right? We're thinking for like imbalances, fair value gaps, right? All those are the same exact thing, but that's usually what we want to look for. What I also like to look for is my favorite candlestick play, right? I like to see these candlesticks, guys, where we end up breaking previous candles low or high, but then we end up flipping and going in the opposite direction, right? So I really like, for one, below this level right here is going to be my initial area, or it's going to tell me to start looking for entries. Right below here is going to be my first area where I start to look for entries. Okay, so somewhere down here in this level, I would love to see somewhere below this. What is this? 11,100 level. But even down here, now I want to again look at price action. All of this, guys, is inefficient price action, right? You see how we just had like 6, 7, 8 bullish candlesticks straight? That's all inefficient price action, right? More times than not, not always, but more times than not, the market will go and start to fill some of that inefficiency. And then we got to just line up where we want to look for. So very simple. Based on how I look at this, I would be very interested, guys, in looking for a potential play all the way down here at this 11,090 level, 11,090 for NAS100 to then go ahead and give us an opportunity to go higher. All right. So, I mean, this is literally a top-down analysis, guys, for y'all on NAS, and this is something that I would actually genuinely be interested in. Now we just got to see if the market is going to allow us to actually get in there. All right. Now it's a matter of just seeing what the market does give us. Right. Is it going to allow us to actually come down into this level? And if it does, then yeah, what I want to see is that break of structure followed by the change of character. And then we just look for our entry techniques. Right. Which, you know, it all lines up together, family. But yeah, you know, that's what I'll be looking for overall, you know, for NAS today. Right. So we are about less than an hour away before true volume enters the market for these indices, right? You know, the markets really pick up, guys, when the stock market opens up, right? Especially these indices. So if we're able to see this thing sell off during the start, right, around 9:30 a.m. Eastern, right? If we are able to see a nice sell off, that can be an opportunity to go ahead and give us a potential play to the upside, right? So that's my opinion, obviously, right? That's my bias, what I would be interested in taking if I was going to be taking this. And, yeah, hopefully you guys really were able to see that entire, you know, top-down analysis breakthrough of how I actually analyze the markets, right? But, yeah, I'm interested in this. It looks interesting. But I really need to see the market come back down to these extreme lows, right? I need to see the market come back somewhere closer to these extreme lows before I truly go ahead and get involved. Right, so that's my opinion for NAS, and we'll see how that plays out. All right, but let's see what else we got here. I'm liking gold sales around 1824. We're sticking to sell gold right now. Stop loss at 1825. I'm in that GJ. Let's get it, Tyson. Let's see. Salah Abel, this is why you demand. The guy, appreciate you, Omar. Let's see. Eurocat buys. We'll take a look at Eurocat as well, but I think everybody really everybody wants to go ahead and take a look at gold. So let's take a look at gold real quick. All right, and this is what I was looking at for gold. All right, again, something that we spoke about last night as well. I do want to see gold, guys, ultimately come up and spike above this 1820 level, right? I'm very interested in seeing price spike above this 1820 just because I believe there's a lot of liquidity now being positioned above these highs, right? These equal highs or relative highs. And yesterday we were talking about price potentially reaching around that 1823, potentially reaching around that 1824 level. Right, and yeah, that's what I would still technically be interested in looking for something like that, right? I would love to see if price can go ahead and retest back up to these, you know, these extreme highs up here, all right? Like the last time we actually seen a lot of selling pressure into the markets, it wasn't that much, right? At least from this price point, but last time we seen a nice little rejection, guys, was from up in these areas. So is there a chance for price to come all the way back up into this zone? Of course there is, right? In fact, I think the market is going to do that. But is it enough for us to actually go ahead and hold this level? I would hope so, right? Obviously, we don't like to trade on hope, but that will be the potential. That will be the play, all right? And if we actually go ahead and start to really just identify this pattern that we've been creating, this little rising wedge pattern that we have here, all right, you know, we can literally align ourselves, guys, with this, you know, area of structure up here, right? Because like, think about it like this, guys, right? I'm going to go ahead and just, you know, write something here. From the top of this resistance up here, Okay, the high of this resistance, which is at this 1825 level, and this high right here. What is all up in here? All right, I want you guys to answer this in the chat. What is this? What is all up in here right here inside of this level? Right, what is up in this level right here? What do you guys think in your opinion? Answer this in the chat. Right, what is your guys' thoughts and opinions, family, up in this level, right? Because there's something specific up here that I like to look for. Let's see, stops, imbalances, liquidity, right? So definitely stops, definitely liquidity, right? Sell orders, liquidity grab, yeah, right? So this is what we consider, guys, right? Whenever we have a nice little range between two highs, that is what we call a nice little liquidity pool, right? This is a pool of liquidity. Right, so there is probably a ton of money just sitting up here, right? A ton of orders, a ton of positions, a ton of, again, just money, a ton of liquidity, guys, just positioned up here, which is why I want to see the market, get up into this level. And then when we get up into here, that's when we go ahead and start to really be patient and see if we're able to see, after the break of structure, we go ahead and we see an initial rejection, giving us that change of character. And then once we get that change of character, then we can go ahead and truly get involved, right? So that's literally going to be my blueprint, right? And it's literally, again, something that we spoke about last night on the Asian stream, and it's still setting up, right? I want to see price get into this area of liquidity, this liquidity pool up here. And then once we're up there, then it's about just, again, seeing what the market gives us, right? Like if we're able to get up there, guys, what I really want to see is something like this. It's going to be, again, one of my favorite structure patterns. We see the market come up here, all right? We're starting to slow down. Okay, we start to see markets slow down. We start to see markets slow down. All right, and then we get that initial break to the highs, that last little run of liquidity, and then we get the nice strong change of character. All right, so if you guys look at this pattern, this is going to be what we call an ascending triangle. Okay, an ascending triangle. But then we actually run last built up liquidity before we actually shift, breaking structure to the downside, which is what we consider that change of character. Right, so there's a few little things to look for, guys, right? And that's why it's so important to be patient. And that's why I also like to look at things like that on such a smaller time frame, right? Because it could happen very, very quickly, right? Like I'm looking at it from the 5-minute perspective, right? And, seeing this play out like this is going to take a while. And it's probably not going to happen that quickly, right? But I showed it in a more larger perspective so you guys can see what I want to look for, right? But that can happen so quick, right? Especially if we're, looking at this thing from the smaller perspective, like on this lower time frame, guys, this 1-minute time frame, like this thing could go up into here, start to give us, again, that sign that momentum is slowing down, give us that last little spike up, the change of character, and then from there, we go ahead and we're able to get a trade that is giving us a lot more confidence, right? Because now we're waiting for confirmation. We're waiting for that rejection. We're not necessarily going to just be taking a trade once we get into the liquidity pool, but that is when it's time for us to focus. That is when it's time for us to lock in. That is when it's time for us to say, you know what? Let's go ahead and see if we're able to get that entry confirmation from a structure perspective, right? Because there's different confirmations that we get here, guys, right? The first confirmation that I look for is an entry, a structural-based confirmation, which is, again, looking for this change of character, right? Showing us rejection from this area. That's the first confirmation. You can take a trade off of that if you want to. There's nothing wrong with that as long as you know where your stop's got to go. But the next form of confirmation that I look for after that is my candlestick confirmation, right? So I go from identifying a structure confirmation to now identifying a candlestick confirmation. And then I look for my candlestick entry confirmation as well, right? So there's a bunch of different confirmations that you can go. You get your structural based confirmation, then you get your entry candlestick pattern confirmation, but then you also get your entry technique confirmation, which is usually either a break of that engulfing candle or a break of the low, a closure below that low, right? There's a lot of stuff, right? And I actually spoke about it a little bit more in depth last night as well, right? I spoke about it last night, guys, in terms of what I really look for, right? My three favorite structure patterns, my 3 favorite candlestick patterns, and also my 3 favorite entry techniques based off those patterns, right? So there's a lot that I look for sure, right? But it's there. I'm just going to go ahead and hide my camera real quick, guys, just because there's a lot going on in my background. But, yeah, that's what I want to see. Something like that looks very, very attractive in my opinion, right? So that's what I would wait for. I will only take a trade on this if we get our structure confirmation, which is, again, the break of structure leading straight into a change of character. Then I'll wait for the pullback, and then we'll go ahead and get involved. All right. Does this make sense, family? Or is this a little bit too much for you guys? Let me know in the chat. Does this make sense, yes or no? Is this making sense, yes or no? Let me know in the chat, family. All right, because this is a lot. But that's what you should be looking for. That's what you want to be looking for. That's what you want to be waiting for. You want to be waiting for these confirmations, especially if you're going to be taking trades on the smaller time frame, right? Especially if you want to look for some plays off of the 1 minute to 2 minute guys. Like, you should wait for confirmation, all right? Because more times than not, just looking for, the market come into the zone and then looking at one engulfing pattern off of this zone is usually not enough on these smaller time frames, right? So you have to allow structure to build itself. Right, and when you allow it to build itself, see, then you get a lot more confirmations, a lot more data that's going to really help you out overall when it comes to identifying those overall positions. Okay, so yeah, that's what I would like to see. All right, let's see what else we got here. I'm really more interested in long than shorts on indices. I just don't think we're ready for a higher time frame point of view. I did share my US 30 outlook. Yeah, let's go take a look at that real quick. All right, we can take a look at that. Let's see. I never take a trade without break of structure. Yeah, I like that confirmation for sure. All right, so let's see what we got here. All right, shout out to Eric as well, right? Always super active in the communities, right? But let's see what we got here, right? So you want to look for this push higher, and then ultimately look for that move lower to then ultimately go much higher. All right, okay, that's a very interesting outlook for sure, right? And it could possibly play out. Listen, man, it could very well possibly play out. All right, in fact, that kind of lines up with what I'm looking here for NAS, right? Which is, again, is that initial little buy up, period. Which, again, I was looking at it such a smaller time frame, so we don't really have no crazy targets from this. This will be an opportunity, guys, giving us a 4-to-1 risk to reward, just targeting right back up to these initial highs in the smaller time frame. But yeah, similar to what you're looking for here, this thing could continue going higher, which means NAS could continue going higher as well. All right, so yeah, I'm with you on that. I agree with you on that for sure. Just looking at it from a NAS perspective, because for the most part, these indices do move for the most part identical. I'm not gonna say identical, right? But they move. They move very similarly for sure. All right, so yeah, that's a great outlook for sure, Eric. All right, that's what we would look for. All right, let's see what else we got here. What else we got, guys? And again, the goal for today, the goal for right now, 100 likes. Right? I know we don't have 100 people on just yet. But let's go ahead and get these likes up. All right, let's go ahead and get these likes up. I appreciate you guys for doing that. But let's definitely go ahead and get these likes up, guys, right? It definitely just helps us out tremendously for sure. All right, so that's what we're looking at for gold, in my opinion. And that's also what we're going to be looking at for NAS and all that good stuff. And seeing what the market can give us. All right, so let's see what else we got here, guys, in terms of other currencies. I want to look at the dollar index, all right, because we've been seeing very interesting price action here for the dollar. We really haven't seen too much at all, but what I did notice overall, guys, is that we just entered down into this area of structure right here. All right, the dollar has been obviously very bearish over the past month or two. All right, we've been seeing a lot of selling pressure, a lot of selling momentum overall. But most recently, ever since in the end of November, I mean, the market, look how choppy this price action is. Right? Like, compare this type of momentum, right, to the choppiness that we're seeing here. Right? This type of pattern, guys, again, is a common pattern that shows itself, right? These little descending wedge, ascending wedge patterns. I love those patterns, right? Those are one of my favorite 3 patterns to play. Right? So it's looking at this descending wedge pattern is crucial, just looking at it. But we want to make sure that we're aligning this pattern, guys, right, with a previous area of structure, right? Does this pattern align with a massive level of structure, right? Or does it happen after some type of liquidity grab? Those are all questions that I really like to ask myself, right? So we did see the market come and break this previous level of structure right here, this previous higher low point, which was probably building up liquidity, right? And now we're seeing how we're reacting off of here. And if I'm going to be honest with you guys, right, this dollar, I don't know. The dollar itself, I personally would not be surprised. And this is just me, right? But I'm actually, and this might even go against what I'm looking at for certain pairs too. But I don't know. I still think we have a little bit more downside to go, in my opinion. Right? I still think we have a little bit more downside. Maybe, and again, I could be wrong, right? This thing could just break out. And if that happens, then we'll just adjust, right? But I think there could be a potential move a little bit lower before we ultimately see, that bigger breakout of this pattern itself. And I'm really just identifying that because I'm looking at these lows to the left, right? I'm looking at these lows to the left, right? And I'm asking myself, okay, are these protected lows? Are these strong lows, right? Are these lows that can actually hold, all right? Because if we're playing off of this level right here, then we want to make sure that these levels are actual strong levels, right? These are levels that actually can hold, right? That we can actually potentially play off of. And there is a chance for price to stay off here, but there's also a chance for it to run lower. And I think, in my opinion, that there could be maybe one more spike to the downside, right? And that's just me looking at it from this higher time frame. Let me go to lower time frame and really see if I can make a better better analysis in terms of if that's really what I think, right? So let's see what we got here. Let's see what we got here, right? All right, so looking at the dollar itself, what have we noticed? What have we noticed? Right, we had this massive sell-off, and then ever since then, we just accumulated. All right, we ended up creating all of this liquidity on both sides. The market ends up spiking up very aggressively to the upside. You know, then we just got back into another little range-bound market, just accumulating more orders. We've seen a nice little sell-off, and ever since then, we again just been creating more structure. It's been a very choppy market here, guys, for the dollar. Extremely, extremely choppy market overall. If I was to think something could happen, right now, again, I do think that there is a chance for us to continue going lower. But, right, there is a but here. Based off where we're at in terms of structure, right, we are at a level, guys, right? These extreme lows right here are important, right? These lows are important, right? Because this is a low that was formed before we seen this big shoot up to the upside. Right, you guys see this big spike up right here, right? We clearly had a lot of buying pressure come into the market at this area. And that's why this area right here is a lot more interesting. Now, more times than not, we typically will want to see a much stronger reaction off of these levels. But we are creating higher lows. We are creating higher lows, right? So there could be a chance for the market to truly go ahead and just go higher for now off of this level. Now, don't confuse from, you know, what I think can eventually happen, right? I still think there is a chance for the market to go ahead and go lower. But just based off current price action on these smaller time frames, there's an actual opportunity for us, especially if we do see this dollar come up and break this level right here, all right? And now we're seeing another change of character. Then I would probably think from a short-term perspective, dollar strength, in my opinion. From a short-term perspective, right? I could see that happen from a short-term perspective. But just keep in mind, the market is extremely choppy, right? So this is why I'm saying it's very possible for us to break out. But for then us to still go ahead and go lower, it's very possible. The market going to do what it wants to do, all right? Especially since we're stuck inside of all these ranges. So that is an opportunity that we could play off of, right? You know, the market is all about probabilities, guys, right? The market is all about using your edge to find opportunities that could potentially play out, you know, with high probability. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean it's going to always play out, right? And I want you guys to understand this, guys, right? You can have all your confirmations in the world, like every single one, and still take a loss, right? It is what it is. But it's up to us to manage our risk for that reason, right? We take advantage of all the opportunities that we can see, anything that makes sense, and we manage our risk correctly, and then we just deal with the outcome. We deal with the consequences, okay? So that can be an opportunity, right? That could potentially play out. You know, but we'll see. We'll see, right? Again, it's very interesting price action, guys, for sure, that we're seeing. And very interesting market structure plays as well. Right, so we'll see what happens overall. All right, we will see what happens. We'll see what the market gives us. Let's see what else we got here. Like the video. Yeah, Omar, appreciate you guys. Go ahead and smash the like button. Let's get it. Let's get it. Let's get these likes up. All right, we now have over 100 people on this stream. Let's go ahead and match the likes to the viewers. I know it's very hard to do, but I got faith in us. Right, I got faith in us, right? Let's go ahead and smash the like button. Smash the like button one time. Let's get it. Let's get it. Let's get it. All right, so let's go ahead and just see if the market plays out for us in our favor. All right, let's see what gold is doing. Gold is not really giving us anything just yet. Let me check out on my GJ one time for my GJ. GJ is doing phenomenal for me right now. Let's go. Right, so again, you guys see now how we have broken above our kill zone. All right, and again, I hope you guys were I hope those of you guys that were on last night with me, you know, we're also paying attention to this potential entry, right? Because this thing is doing numbers right now. We're up around 114 pips. Oh my goodness, let's go. Oh my goodness, let's go. All right, absolutely doing this thing. All right, let's get it. Let's get it. Right, so now that we continue to break our kill zone, right, and we're breaking a previous level of supply, which the previous level of supply was up here, right, all in here. Again, what was the move that caused the break of structure? This is the structure point, right? These moves are the ones that cause the break of structure, specifically more so this one. So now that we got that, now I can continue to roll my stops to break even, which it already was, but now it's time for me to roll it into profit. All right, so now I'm rolling my stop loss, and I'm doing that right now. Hold on, give me 1 second because I be talking too much, and I don't even actually do it because I'm trying to teach too much. Let me go ahead and just handle my business real quick, family. Let me go ahead and handle my business one time real quick. Let's see. Move stops. So I'm going to be rolling my stops to 159.700, 159.700, 159. It's still blocked. Why do I keep on doing that to y'all? Why do I keep on blocking the screen to y'all? It's because I want y'all to like the stream. Right? I won't even do that intentionally, guys. Right? I apologize. Right? But yeah, so like I was saying, you know, we broke this structure point right here. All right? We have our previous level of supply right here. Previous level of supply right here. Bow. That now finally got broken. So we continue to trail our stops. We continue to manage this position. So I went from being in the position down here was my initial entry, right down here at this 159.500 level, all right? Our first step was to take the risk off the table. We did that, right? We did that once we actually broke structure. Once we broke this level right here, previous supply right here, we roll our stops to break even, okay? We're good. We secured ourselves. We cannot lose on this trade now. The next part 2 of money management is once we break another previous level of supply, is that we continue to move our stuff in profit. Because now, worst case to happen, worst things worse, right? For one, we're in massive profits, guys. So I'm also going to be closing 30% of my position, right? I'm closing 30% of my position right now as we speak. Let me go ahead and take some lots off the table real quick. Right? Give me 1 second. This thing is going crazy. Wow. Let's go. This thing is going insane. All right, so now we close 30% of our position, right? And now it's just a matter of, again, making it not just a risk-free trade, but it's a win-win. We cannot lose on this, right? I cannot lose on this position. I couldn't lose, period, but now it's not even a loss. Now I'm going to win. I already closed 30%, but now if this thing were, for whatever reason, to come all the way back down, we're still good. We're still going to be able to profit something. But this thing is moving, guys. This is getting to a point where I might just end up closing out even more because this thing is going crazy. Wow. Wow. This thing is going nuts. Sheesh. This thing's going crazy. Wow. NAS tanking. See, and look at this, right? Like and this is literally just yen weakness. This isn't even pound strength, right? This is just straight weakness off the yen more than anything. That yen band-aid, yeah, Jude. Remember what we talked about last night, right? We went in depth last night talking about what we truly could think or what our opinions were, right? For the yens, right? And this has nothing to do with the pound itself. Like, look at GBPUSD. It's not doing nothing, right? This is literally just off of yen weakness. Look at this. USDJPY is flying. All right, this thing is going. Euro JPY moving. NZD-JPY moving. So this is literally just off the back of yen weakness. I don't know. This is interesting. It's that yen band-aid we talked about last night. That's why I was so comfortable with taking these positions. Now, again, keep in mind, I took one loss yesterday over here trying to buy it. So I already had lost 0.5%. But now I'm damn near up around 5% or so. Not that much, right? I think I'm up around 4% or so right now. Right? So that loss is irrelevant that I took. Right? That first jab at the market, that first attempt, I'm way in the money now. I'm way in profit. Let's go. Right? I love that. Right? I love just seeing stuff play in real time, not just for me, but for you guys' perspective. right? Because we were able to correlate the fundamentals from the sentiment, and then we used technicals to identify where we wanted to enter at. All right, let me say that again, right? We used the fundamentals and the sentiment first, and then we allowed technicals to really help us get into this market, guys. Man, that's a game changer. All right, when you understand the data, when you understand how to play this stuff, man, it really is. All right, so yeah, I'm probably going to be taking more off the table now, guys, right? I'm actually going to be closing more of this position because this thing is just going insane, right? And we're just breaking highs and highs and highs, right? So let me go ahead and just close some more off of the table really, really quickly. Let me see. Yeah, so I took even more off the table, right? I took an additional 20%, right? So I pretty much closed 50% of my trade on this big move up here, right? And I'm just going to let the remainder ride out, right? Whether it comes all the way back and hits me or whatever the case may be, so be it, right? But I already closed out 50% of my trade, and now we're just going to let the remainder ride out. But this thing is going crazy. Wow. Why the yen so weak? That's a great question. Let me actually go ahead and see if I can find... Let me see if I could do some research on this. Give me 1 second. Let me go ahead and bring up this tool. Let's see what we got here. Give me 1 second, family. Let's see. Asian markets, anything. Uncertain China. Let's see. I don't really see anything, guys, at all. I don't see like an actual reason for this yen weakness right now, besides the fact that people are just profit taking. All right, that could be. I mean, that's like the only thing that I could think of is that people are now, starting to take profit from those people that actually did start to buy the yen. Let's see. Yeah, I don't really see anything. I don't really see anything as to why this thing is going crazy. Let me just continue to look. Asian Pacific markets. Yeah, we're not really seeing too much. Let's see. Japan lowers view on production while maintaining overall economic assessment in December. The Japanese economy keeps exhibiting moderate improvement while factory output growth hits pause. A few of these headlines could possibly cause that, but nothing too crazy. So I don't know. All right, I don't really see no big reason why, but that's interesting to see how that's playing out though for sure. All right, let's see. Lesson of the day: pay yourself first. 100%. Always pay yourself. Right. The fact that there are negative rates is definitely why we were still considering the fact that it's a band-aid. Right. The fact that there are negative rates still is definitely the big reason why we were talking about last night that it could still be a potential just band-aid that they try to put. But this was very aggressive right here. Right. Like this is again from where around my entry was. This is around 130 pips to the upside, just like that. All right, so let's see what else we got here. It's strong. All NZD is flying. NAS heading towards that kill zone. Gold and NAS dropping too. Let's see. Yeah, gold is moving a little bit, but even still, like I have no interest on gold until we're actually able to go ahead and break above these highs. Like I have no interest in gold until we're actually able to go ahead and clear this 1821 level. Let's see, NAS is starting to push lower. Okay, let's get it. Now with NAS, this could be the next potential play here, guys, right? We'll see how this thing actually ends up playing off and seeing what the market can ultimately give us. We did get, again, a nice little breakup structure right here. BOS, right, followed by a change of character right here. All right, so we got our breakup structure to the downside. Let me highlight this breakup structure to the downside into a nice level of demand, right? That caused a nice big push up that broke structure again, but caused a change of character. All right, so yeah, remember what I said. I want to see price now go ahead and get below this 11,000 level, all right? 11,100. If we can see price get below this 11,100, that's where we start to look for, opportunities to potentially get long. All right, opportunities to potentially get long. So let's see how this continues to play out. We'll see how let's see how this plays out. Let's see what the market gives us. Let's see. Interesting. Very, very interesting. All right, we'll see how this plays out, guys. Right, again, I really am interested down here at these lows. I want to get back into these closer to these extreme lows, for me to go ahead and want to get involved here on NAS personally, right? But we do have less than 20 minutes for the stock exchange open, so we'll see what the market can give us then, and we'll definitely be able to look for some plays for sure off of what that happens. Now, what I'm interested to see. Let's see. Yeah, I'm interested to see how we play off of these levels for sure. Right, but as we wait, guys, again, GJ's doing his thing. It looks like we could see a little bit of a pullback as well, but again, I already secured half of my bag, so I'm just going to allow this thing to play out. My stops are way in profit now, so I can't even lose on this, so we're good to go with that one, so I'm not even going to be focused on that no more. Let's see what else we got here now, right? Let's see. We're going to keep our eyes on this for sure. Right now, I do see that we got the birthday boy on the call, all right? Or, well, at least it was his birthday yesterday. Big shout out to that boy Kyle. Family, can we get some happy birthdays in the chat for my boy Kyle? All right, 1/4 of the Prophet Society family. 1/4 of the Prophet Society, educators here. So go ahead and drop those happy birthdays in the chat. He has finally turned 20 years old, right? Just think about that, right? I've been trading with him for the past 3-4 years, and he just now turned 20. Like, what? This dude is so young, is insane. That is insane, right? So, Kyle, my boy, I appreciate you, bro. If you're there, happy birthday. Definitely unmute yourself, bro, and go ahead and just show some love. And as we wait for Naz, if you have anything that you're also interested in, definitely go ahead and let me know in the chat. Or let us know as well, bro. But happy birthday, my brother. We appreciate you. I love you, dog. It's been definitely a journey for us throughout this process, bro. And, yeah, go ahead and speak your piece, bro, and let us know if you have any setups you want to look at.
Yo, what's going on? What's going on, guys? Appreciate you, all of you guys in the chat. I see you guys spamming the happy birthdays. Honestly, I was really planning to be on with y'all yesterday, but I was up really late taking in my birthday, so there was no trading for me yesterday. But I am back at it with you guys. No breaks. We here. Honestly, I do got some charts. I will go ahead and break down. Family, if you guys have been getting some value from the stream and you guys have been really getting some trades, really getting some sauce, go ahead and drop a like. It's free to show some love, especially if you've been getting some value for sure. So first things first, I do want to just go over the charts. I know it's been like a solid day since you guys heard from me. And what's happened in the meantime is GJ, right? It's crazy, honestly, this sell-off. And this came off the back of the Bank of Japan releasing that statement. And a lot of you guys kind of already saw this coming. Shout out to Skaggs. He's been calling bears on GJ for a long time. And, as long as you guys are playing the order flow, you guys are following along with the concepts, there was definitely multiple entries spoken about. But with that being said, we're not really going to dwell on it for too long. I don't really see any re-entries coming on this soon unless we get like a possible redistribution where we clear out this high and then we can start to trade down. So, I mean, that's kind of my bias on GJ. For the dollar, I'd actually like to see the dollar do something like this today. So we tested off of this level. I actually like to see it break this and then start trading up, right? You know, that's if today gives us what, you know, I'd like to see. Right? This demand candle is very hefty. We've been trading in it for like a day now. So, you know, after seeing the reaction we got from London, I do have possibility to believe that the dollar could trade up today. And if that reaction is strong enough, then it could be something that can warrant us to break this high. But yeah, I like to see some sort of bullish DXY reaction today to get us up into here, maybe even past the highs. I'm not sure how strong the reaction would be, but I like to see something similar to that happen. I like to see us kind of break this and then just continue to trade up for now. So, you know, if that were to correlate to any of the other assets, that would mean GU trading off of this candle. I do expect it to continue down. You know, today's reaction, you know, I believe is either just gonna trade off of this candle or, you know, at the end of the day, guys, there could be another entry, right? Let's say we go down to the 3-minute time frame and we can get something like that. You know, there's the possibilities are there, right? We already had it reacted off the initial zone and we're a little bit in profit. But you know, if you stop this, I'm sure there will be something that will present itself on a low time frame. But yeah, EU, I'm looking at the same thing, guys. I really like this candle that we just tapped off of. I feel like trading down and breaking these lows are becoming more realistic as the day goes on, right? So expect these lows to be cleared today. I wouldn't be buying, I wouldn't be trading in between any of this. When the market is ranging like this, you know, it's good to buy low and sell high, right? So at the end of the day, um, you know, the tops of the range are great sell opportunities, right? And at the end of the day, somebody may have been able to catch a long right here, and that's the bottom of the range, and that could have been a great long opportunity. Now, like I said, I like to always buy low and sell high, or sometimes even buy lower, sell higher. So, you know, just seeing the amount of legs and waves up to the upside that we've already made it, not made it, that we've already made with EU, that's why I'm kind of leaning a little bit more towards the bear side, because I don't want to be catching a late leg of opportunity on the bulls. And I don't really see much price action to warrant a buy unless we were to dip and fill in this inefficiency. So, you know, I'm leading towards the bear side for today. I'd like to see EU drop. We're trading and filling inefficiencies perfectly. So, you know, let's say 930 candle were to give us something, it would have to be something to trade us back and, you know, keep us efficiently moving price, right? You know, I wouldn't just take it off of a break or something like that. I want the best risk to reward possible. I want to risk, you know, that 10 to 20 pip candle opportunity. You know, I want those entries where I can go and break even immediately, where I'm not stressed about it. Right? These types of entries, right? They're in profit. Now, whether we get a re-entry or not is kind of up to the market, but you know, at the end of the day, I just would like to see these lows end up getting rated today. And you know, like, yeah, bullish bullish dollar for me today. So what does that mean? Any pairs with USD at the beginning has a direct correlation with the DXY. And I always do this because I know that there's some new people on here that maybe may not know about how the DXY works. But if you don't know how it works, just understand that any pair with USD at the beginning has a direct correlation and does the same of what the DXY does. So if the DXY does potentially give us our bullish bias, like I have for the day, this is an intraday bias, of course, not a swing bias. But if the dollar were to keep going up as expected, then all pairs with USD at the beginning would directly follow that. And if you were to trade a pair like EU and GU where USD is at the end, then it would actually be an indirect correlation. It wouldn't be the exact, it would be opposite, right? So if my bias on the dollar is right, that means that these highs on USD CAD are going to get taken at some point. Now, this is very tricky, what's going on with UCAD. This is very tricky because, you can kind of justify a distribution schematic on the 1 hour, right? Do you guys see this? Do you guys see this spring? Technically a spring, but it's just very small. It is higher than the previous price action, and this UTAD is lower. So, I mean, it technically, if you were to zoom in very close, yeah, this could be classified as distribution. But at the end of the day, the highs are just very close for comfort for me. It's not as clear as a regular distribution schematic, right? And I feel like if this thing were to distribute, what's stopping it from buying back down here? So at the end of the day, I feel like I'm kind of in a no trade zone for USD CAD. We're in this range bound zone. And remember what I told you guys, whenever we're ranging on things like this, it's best to really look to buy towards the bottom of the range or sell towards the top of the range. Shout out to you guys that were on the weekly overview. And you guys remember me going over USD CAD. It was about like right here when we were going over it. And I remember I was telling you guys that the daily open on Sunday could have been your play. And it actually did retest off of the daily open of our weekly open of that Sunday candle. And we've been trading down ever since. So, to be honest, there's two things that could happen. It wouldn't surprise me if we do actually end up distributing off of there. And maybe we have to catch another entry like tomorrow or something. But it also wouldn't surprise me if this happens, right? It also would not surprise me a bit if we get this. If we get another spring. So there's a possibility that the spring hasn't even set in yet. That this wasn't there's a possibility that this wasn't the entire spring yet. That this didn't wipe enough liquidity to warrant us going down. And I'm more confident in that scenario, actually. I'm more confident in the fact that this high was not enough spring volume to bring us down and break structure and start trading down. So we can't assume selling yet, right? We cannot assume selling just yet. So if you guys ask me, I'm more bullish on USD CAD. If you were to, ask me for a trade, I would tell you guys that play something like this I would only risk anything this candle right here, right? If I were to take any sort of trade, it would never be risking more than this candle right here, right? And I probably wouldn't even take it at the entry it's at right now. That's kind of for you guys that want the 1 to 3, or you're an intraday trader or something like that. And a lot of you guys like looking at the daily bias on USD CAD, the intraday bias, because there's a lot of moves happening, and it's definitely a more on the liquid side of the dollar pairs. So I won't be taking any trade off of there unless we get something that will bring us back to this 5-minute candle. And I'll be keeping an eye as well, family. These are good trades at the end of the day. So, I feel like today, USD CAD, again, following along with my DXY bullish, I just want to see if we can push up higher, clear these highs, and then we can start aggressively selling USD CAD, right? So in the middle of this distribution schematic, it's all about getting the best entry, being the most patient as possible, not trying to sell in the middle of this range or at the bottom, and that's how you get snatched. So be smart, be patient, guys, and at the end of the day, we will find that opportunity to execute. But yeah, honestly, USD CAD, I will check the chat. Is there any of you guys that have any certain questions or anything, any certain pairs? Thoughts on NAS, Kyle? It's crazy. I knew somebody was gonna ask that, so I already popped up NAS. Like, I know somebody on the stream always asks about NAS. So, gotta give y'all some sauce, gotta give y'all some. We were calling bearish NAS, to be honest, guys, for the past week, right? At the end of the day, when I saw this candle wipe liquidity that crazy, even though we didn't catch this entry at the top, shout out to you guys that caught the re-entry with us when we were telling you guys to sell a New York session right here. But yeah, I mean, it's just been continuing in that direction. And if you were to ask me for a play, it were to be to just continue in this direction, right? One of the most simplest things in the world, but sometimes one of the most trickiest things in the world, and sometimes one of the most things that you think yourself out of, the most like craziest things. Honestly, it wouldn't surprise me if we get some sort of reaction off of this to kind of take us up into here. But we can't assume that, to be honest, right? This could happen where we pull back to the most extreme point that we have in the market right now, and we can feel inefficiency and then drop, right? We can't assume that, though. So at the end of the day, I'm just going to keep both zones marked for anybody for their pleasure. Just anything like this, right, will be my setup. It even could potentially just sell off from where it's at right now. Like, honestly, guys, if I was a NAS100 trader, I would take this. Like, stop loss like this, right? Like, I would not risk more than this. Right? I don't trade NAS100, but, if you trade NAS100, and that's a good risk to reward opportunity to you, then by all means, take it, right? At the end of the day, I'm not sure, how good risk to reward opportunities work with NAS, or how the lot sizes work and stuff. But this is a 1 to 5, to be honest. So I would take that, and I actually would call that an official trade, like, on the channel. So you guys can take that. I'll update you guys on that. Even though I'm not taking it, I'll consider it as a loss for myself, even as well. I might even actually go ahead on my MT4 and take it like a 0.01 or something right now, just so I could be in it with you guys. But That's actually a play that I'm willing to call out for you guys. And to be honest, if it loses, I'll count it as a loss myself. But yeah, the risk is very small. It's like this candle, and then we'll just be taking it down to here. But yeah, anything can happen, guys. 9:30 just triggered. So yeah, we could completely melt or we could completely tank. But yeah, I like this trade idea, guys. I'm willing to call this sell. Um Again, guys, put your stop loss right above here, right? Right above this candle. Actually, if you want to be a little bit on the safer side, you know, me personally, since I like trading EU, GU, things like that, I would put my stop loss right here. But if you want to be, a little bit more on the stress-free side, a little bit more on the like, yo, I'm gonna just put my stop loss right here. By all means, go ahead. It's really only like a 5-point difference, and you'll be a little bit more on the safe side. And you're still catching that 1 to 4, 1 to 5 risk to reward. So I would say keep your risk something like this. We are getting a little bit in profit, guys. So for you guys that did take that sell with me, go ahead and drop a $ in the chat. Wow, honestly, guys, it's just like I knew somebody was gonna talk about NAS100 and ask about it in the chat. And you know what's crazy? Like I don't even trade it, and I feel like I kind of have like a little bit of a fear against it because I don't know how to calculate the lot sizes on some of my brokers. On some of my brokers, I do, but some of my brokers that I use a lot, I don't really like. The lot sizes are just very weird, so I just like to shy away from it because if I don't know how much I'm risking, I won't take the trade. And that's how you guys should be. If I don't know exactly how much I'm gonna lose on a trade and how much this lot size is gonna warrant me for a loss, I'm not even gonna take the trade. So even though I know that was a great trade, at the end of the day, sometimes I wouldn't take a lot of trades on NAS100 because I just didn't know how much to risk or how the lot sizes were. But this is just a perfect example of showing you guys live that if you guys apply the logic and the ideology, what's there to be afraid of, right? On the 30-minute candle, we got what's called our live OB, right? A lot of you guys talk about this in the chat. A lot of you guys have learned this from us, right? Especially if we're bullish on dollar, right? It would only make sense that we go ahead and we're bearish on indices, anything with USD at the end. So, I really like this level to maybe come tap as some sort of manipulation play. But just seeing what London did, I just saw London create some highs here, break some structure. I wanted to just see New York continue that, and that's exactly what we're getting. So shout out to you guys. Once I saw this 30-minute bearish engulfing, I was completely willing to just play this 30-minute candle. But I wanted to follow structure and order flow, keep the risk to reward something, just feasible. And we're going just for the break of this lows. I want you guys to take majority of your profits at a 1 to 3, and then we'll reevaluate from that. But yeah, shout out to you guys. Drop them $ in the chat if you guys are in profit with me today on NAS100. What a great way to start the Wednesday. For my indices traders. What's crazy? In 2023, I'm definitely gonna make it a goal to trade more indices live. What you guys can hold me accountable. And I will be giving out more trade ideas on indices, and I'll be taking them myself. So with that being said, honestly, I will update you guys on this idea. Shout out to you guys that are in it with me. And we'll just rock out as such. But we do got my brother Ray on the line. Shout out to you, my brother, Mr. Wall Street Ray, man. Honestly, me and him were having a full circle moment yesterday. Just talking about, I literally remember when I started trading, he had posted like a little screenshot, and I was messaging everybody, yo. And you know what's crazy? I could really tell the hungry ones on this channel versus the ones that really just here to play around, right? And it's just crazy because you could really tell, right? There's a lot of you guys that are always asking us questions. Follow us crazy on Instagram. You're in our DMs, you're in our messages, you ask us stuff, you're in our group chats. Like you're always connected with us and asking us stuff and picking our brain. That's how I could tell if you're really gonna be successful, because at the end of the day, when I really started trading, I'm gonna tell you guys this. I literally messaged every single six-figure earner I saw trading. Anybody I saw trading and I knew they were somewhat doing the same thing as me, I messaged every single one of them and I asked them like the same question. And Ray actually was one of the few that answered. And shout out to Ray, because without him, I would not even be here. So, he's definitely played a big role in my journey. So, I want you guys to definitely listen into what he has to say, because after that full circle moment yesterday, it's definitely a lot of stuff coming for the private society. Trust me, we're gonna go hard with this, guys, and it's gonna go crazy. And my guy Ray is definitely gonna be a big part of that. So Ray, bro, if you got availability, bro, if you're accessible, go ahead and unmute your mic, bro. What do you think about this NAS100 setup? To be honest, bro, I kind of like called this out a little bit late. The original entry should have been up here, to be honest, following my strategy with the London continuation. It really should have been the stop loss very small like that. But, nonetheless, I do like bearishness to kick in NAS100. Let's just see how it goes. But, Ray, are you there, bro?
Yeah, I'm here, man. How y'all doing? How y'all feeling today?
Feeling blessed, my brother. Feeling blessed.
Word. So yeah, I like Nas to go a little bearish just because the low that you have for your TP appears to be weak in my opinion. So I do feel like that needs to be hit. Now, whether it hits now or hits later, I do feel like it will be hit. Now, what I actually took an opportunity on was believe it or not, US 30. And like it's crazy because I don't even really trade US 30, but somebody asked me to mark it up. And so last night, I had this point of interest marked up. And it's not the nicest point of interest in my opinion. Like, obviously, I like to see a strong sweep. I like to see, a little more liquidity be taken. But just based off of the fact that I feel like this is a low that can be targeted, I wouldn't be surprised if this is a high that holds up. So with me having that analysis, it does make sense for you to have, a bearish outlook on Nas because they do move somewhat similarly. So I could see it, bro. Me personally, I would like to see Nas respect this high if possible. And again, it's all about taking a shot. And I was doing a mindset call yesterday, and one of the things I was saying is a lot of times you hear as we say, I'm gonna just take this opportunity, and if it wins, great. If not, it is what it is. And that's not a way for us to deflect or not a way for us to avoid accountability or anything. It's like if we lose, it's just the mindset and the attitude of a trader. Because what we have to realize is that, you win some, you lose some, as long as the outcome is income. And that's so true, because a lot of the people that can't make consistent profits in the market are the ones that are hell-bent on the next trade versus the next series of trades, the next 50 trades, the next, 30 trades. So with that being said, I want y'all to, if anything, learn the strategy, obviously, but really learn the attitude as well, because the attitude of not being too high on yourself, not being too low on yourself, not getting, too high when you're on a winning streak, but not getting too emotional when you experience a few losses. That's what allows you to accumulate wealth. And it's one of the hardest things to do because we're doing something that goes against all conventional thinking, which is trading. In real life, if you're getting a negative result, then that means you should change something immediately, right? Like, it's not hard to understand that, like, if you was to fail a test in school, that means that, you should be doing something different. You need to study more. You need to change what it is that you're studying, whatever the case may be. But in trading, you can win and be wrong, and you can lose and be right, meaning that you could just put on a winning trade out of nowhere. You could put a blindfold on and press buy or sell, and there's going to be a 50% chance that you're right. All right. Now, that doesn't mean just because you end the day with some profit, that doesn't mean that you went about it the right way. So technically that was still a loss. Even though you may have made some profit, technically speaking, you were wrong. You were out of line for taking the trade the way that you took it. Now, the same thing can happen on the flip side. You can actually lose a trade, but if you went about it the proper way, then technically speaking, you did the right thing. So, it's all about creating habits. It's not even about the case by case, case by case trade, whether or not you're right or wrong. And that's something that's very important to understand. So again, when you hear us kind of say, oh, well, whatever happens, happens, or, win or lose, I'm good. Like, that's really the attitude you have to adopt as a trader. So don't look at that and be like, man, they're just trying to, protect themselves if they lose. Like, no, this is what every great trader is thinking. Like, every great trader, that's the common denominator that we all have, is a detachment from the outcome. And it allows the outcome to happen a lot smoother. So, that's that. And I'll be honest, this is a trade that I gave for one of my students, but for me, I'm personally chilling the rest of the year. So I do kind of want to, go on a mini rant. I ain't going to do like I, usually do, because I could talk for an hour, 2 hours on this type of stuff. But one thing I want y'all to understand, man, is obviously it's the end of the year, right? And this is the time of the year where everybody starts self-reflecting and start thinking about what they accomplished in a year, what they didn't accomplish. And I just really want y'all to sit back and think about, one, how fast this year went by, and two, did you put your best foot forward? Or did you leave anything in the tank? You know what I'm saying? Because, this time is going to pass us by regardless. And I don't want y'all to have another year where you don't reach your goals and you don't accomplish everything you set out to accomplish. So I want y'all to really make up in your mind going into 2023 that you're going to do whatever it takes next year, whether you have to fall asleep studying some days, whether you have to, just truly dedicate yourself. Like, I was notorious for taking my backpack everywhere with me. And people be like, bro, why you always got your backpack? It's because I was always carrying my laptop. So that way I could study at any given moment and I could look at the charts. And it's like, you got to have like that same burning desire to where if you in school, you low key studying while you in class. Like, if you at work, you got your, you doing something, whatever you could do to kind of put in more time with the markets. And the reason why I say that is because you want to build that chemistry with the markets. You want to build that, almost that telepathy and that what is it? That chemistry in a sense, right? You want to build chemistry with the markets. If you ever, notice the best sports teams, because I'm a big football guy. We ain't about to get into the football argument today, but I'm a big American football guy, and I like basketball as well. And, the teams in the NBA and the teams in the NFL, the teams that are the best, what do they have in common? They all have a lot of chemistry, right? And where does that chemistry come from? The chemistry comes from them playing together for a long time. They have a lot of reps together, right? So if they have a lot of reps together, I understand your mannerisms. I understand your tendencies. I understand your body language. I understand all of these things that can help us understand each other, right? So when it comes to trading, it's pretty much the same thing. You need to get reps in with the market so that way you can trade on an intuitive level, because there is a degree of intuition and chemistry, and there's a degree of this higher faculty type power that goes into the markets, right? The strategy is black and white, right? Like I could show you a strategy, we could all see the same strategies, right? However, we may not have the same results due to the fact that our perceptions is different and our, intuition in the markets is different. When you see people get these sniper entries and stuff like that, it's because we're trading off of intuition, right? And that's one thing you got to understand when it comes to trading, that you have to be able to put yourself in that position to take high probability trades. And a lot of times it comes from you just, again, seeing it happen so many times that you just know that you just know. And that comes from time, that comes from chart time. And there's a lot of stuff that can't be taught without chart time. So yes, the strategy can be taught in 5 minutes, right? But the chart time is going to help you apply that strategy in the most profitable ways possible. So, just keep that in mind, guys. I want y'all to really spend as much time with the charts as possible, going into 2023, and really, develop that relationship with the way the markets move, so that way you could truly, truly get what it is that you want out of the markets. So, just take that for what it is. Don't waste no time this year, guys. Like really, really get everything you desire in 2023. And I'm excited to see the growth of everybody in the call. I'm excited to see, everybody that's in the Profit Society, everybody that's a part of our mentorship programs. I'm excited to see all of you guys grow and develop, because that's all trading really is. And the reason why I love trading is because it's such an infinite amount of levels you can grow, because even when you're making 4 figures a day, it gets to 5 figures a day, it gets to 6 figures a day, like there's always another level you can take it. And that's like the most beautiful part about trading, is that there's no ceiling. And if you think about how the universe works, whatever you focus on grows. You don't have a job here. You don't have a boss. You don't have any rules and regulations that you have to follow. It's really just based off your own discipline. So that means you can grow an infinite amount of levels and truly get what it is that you want. And that's the beautiful thing about it. So trust, even though the traders on this call are very profitable, we're all focusing on how we could level up even more as well. So we all in this thing together. We just all at slightly different degrees of profitability. We all at slightly different degrees of, knowledge and education, but we all in this thing together. And that's the beautiful thing. It's all about growing every single day. So, that's pretty much all I got personally. I don't really see no trades that I'm really interested in. Like, if I'm just being honest, like I said, this is going to be a slow, end of the year for me. I'm really just taking this time to reflect and get my thoughts and intentions in order for next year. So, if y'all got anything else y'all would like to look at, then so be it. But personally, I'm vibing for the rest of the year. Like, I don't really want to trade. Even if I see something that's interesting, I still don't really want to trade, because I'm using this time for me. I've been in the trenches all year. So I'm using this time just to kind of, again, get my head right for 2023. So that's all I got, man. Don't leave no stone unturned next year. Really submerge yourself and get to that bag.
Yeah, no, that was dope. He really went in a lot on the mindset side of things for sure, breaking down a lot of key things. Ray, I always love how you speak, bro, and you're able to articulate a lot of things, bro. So shout out to you, man, for sure. But let me just see what we got here in the chat. Let's see. Uh, let's see. I've been in student mode, taking hella notes. That's key. This is my first December trading. I learned a lot these past 2 months, 100%. Let's see, what broker does Skag use for swing trades? I'm not sure, to be honest with you. I believe he uses Prosperity Effects, if I were to take a guess. Let's see, I'm a long lifetime student of Abel since his Wealthy Visions course. Yeah, yo, shout out to you, Alex. You're another one of the ones that got that $50 course back in 2017, 2018. That's crazy. Let's see, Access, you're the man, Ray. I appreciate what you bring to the table, 100%. I constantly struggle keeping it consistent way. Yeah, hey man, can you check your chart? EA, I took a buy. Yeah, we can take a look at EA as well, family. Let me just see what else we got here. I'm not sure if anybody else has anything that they want to look for. I know Ray said that he's pretty much just chilling on chill mode. But let me go ahead and see what we got here for EA. And this NAS went absolutely crazy. Like, look at this big whiplash, how it just went right now. I know Kyle was looking for that continuation to the downside. If you guys were on the stream earlier, when I started the stream up, my opinion was that NAS was going to go do something like this. So I'm actually, and I didn't want to do it. I didn't want to tell you guys because I really hate, creating conflicting ideas. All right. So I ended up just keeping it to myself. But I did end up taking this buy right here at these lows, which again is what I initially told you guys at the beginning of the stream that I was looking for. All right. And just so you guys could see, like, again, it's going to be hard for you guys to see, right? But I did end up taking the buy right there as well. Just to let that go out. All right, so that's going pretty well. We're going to let that thing ride out. But let's go take a look at EA real quick, see what else the market is giving us. The boy Jude said that he's looking at EA. He took a buy. Let's go ahead and see what you're looking to buy from. Let's see. Last time we looked at EA was when you was looking at that buy all the way down here, right? And that thing went absolutely crazy for you, Jude. Absolutely crazy, right? But let's see what else we got here now. I mean, looking for a buy off of this wick fill, it definitely makes a lot of sense, right? Just because of where we're at in terms of structure, we clearly are very bullish. We've seen a lot of demand pick up in this area as well, after we went and grabbed some liquidity down at these lows. Right, so there could be obviously some type of bullish or some demand that also picks back up in this area, right in this wick. As soon as we start to fill a lot of this wick for sure. Let's see. You said you entered at 1.582. 1.582. That's not a bad entry neither. That's near the lows, which is not bad. I love it just because we are in extreme levels here for EA. And I think I like it. All right, I like it. What I would need to see, though, for me to really have confidence, right, because we did get that play that I really like here, guys, right? I like to see the break of structure to the downside, which we got right there. But then immediately after we broke that structure, what happened, right? Price came back up and broke, new risk levels back to the highs, right, which is giving us that change of character. All right, so we went from that lower low straight to that little quote-unquote higher high sequence on these internal levels, and that's good. The thing that I really would like to see now, though, is if we're able, once we pull back, because there could be a nice little pullback to fill some of this inefficient price action here on these smaller time frames, right? I am on the 1 minute time frame, guys, right? So it's a much lower time frame. But if we are able to go ahead and just maintain this level right here, right? Obviously, with that entry and just playing off of this in itself, we don't want to see a new low be created. If it does happen, it's cool. We could just continue to analyze price, see how it goes. But we don't want to see a new low created. So if we are able to see price push back down, maybe into this last little sell to buy candle, right? Sell to buy up candle, then we could see a potential re-entry if the market decides to give that play, right? If the market decides to give that play, right? And even looking here on the 5 minute, you said you looked at it on the 5 minute. The 5 minute, we also got that, that order block down there, right? That low order block in an extreme levels, that's usually what we want to see, right? We want to go ahead and look for these type of, engulfing patterns at extreme levels, right? And that type of reaction can definitely warrant, a potential trade for sure. All right, so yeah, I like this. I like it a lot. Just keep in mind we could see this thing pull back down some, all right, to possibly give us another reactory. I truly will have a lot more confidence, though, once we actually go ahead and take out these highs that were on 1.5836. That's where I would have a lot more confidence, right? So if we are able to go ahead and clear that, then I'll be like, all right, yeah, see, now we're probably just going to go ahead and start targeting a lot of these, levels of liquidity, because we do have a lot of targets to go to the upside here, right? We have this level that we could target. We have these levels that we could target. You know, we have these equal highs. Like, there's a lot of equal price action, equal highs up here, guys, that was left behind that we can use as potential targets here for EA, right? So there is a good opportunity for us to go bullish, and yeah, so that's pretty much just my thoughts. I really like that one, Jude. It looks interesting. It looks good for sure. All right. In fact, if we're able to see this thing pull back down, then I might actually go ahead and jump in this with you. All right, I might go ahead and jump in this with you if I'm able to go ahead and see price come right back into that level, and then go ahead and start to target all of this buy side liquidity, to the upside. All right, so that could be a potential play for not just me, but even for some of you guys as well that are looking to go ahead and get in. Let's see, y'all heard what happened with the Bank of Japan. Yeah, we actually had a very in-depth lesson on it yesterday, Mark. We were talking about it. The Bank of Japan right now, they're actually being a little bit more aggressive, right, with their policies, because they had to do something, right? Inflation itself, guys, has really caused their currency as a whole to get demolished over the past year. And even though they intervened in the market 2 times in the past, right, this time they're actually being a little bit more aggressive with what they're doing, right? They're actually going to be a lot more aggressive with their asset purchasing, right? They're going to be a lot more aggressive with various policies so that they can try to bring some type of strength back into the Japanese yen. And we've seen that, right? Like, we literally seen that happen, right, with this massive sell-off, right? At the moment that they actually said that they're going to do these different policy changes, it caused this whole thing to collapse. But one thing that I also mentioned last night, right, and it's something that we talked about last night, with the community, right? I told everybody, and the question that I asked last night was, is this move, all right, is this actually going to sustain itself? Is it going to hold? Should we continue to expect more selling pressure for this, or was this intervention, although a lot more aggressive than the previous ones, is this still more so just a band-aid, trying to prop up their market as a whole? All right, so it's definitely interesting to see what happens. I don't know. I still think that more so this could potentially be a band-aid, in my opinion. The reason for that is because they're still easing, right? It's not like they completely said, yo, we're going to go ahead and start tightening up. We're going to start raising rates. They haven't raised rates yet, right? They're still planning on easing, right? They're still providing stimulus. They're still printing money, so that's why it still has me a little bit on the opposite side, thinking that this was more so just a band-aid. Now, we actually did catch this buy, right? Literally, as soon as I started the stream this morning, I was talking to everybody about this buy right here that I talked about last night. And yeah, I was able to grab a big portion of this move. In fact, my stop loss is at break even. Well, it's not at break even, but it's in profit. And it looks like it's probably going to get hit. But I already ended up closing 50% of my trade while it was all the way up here around 130 pips in profit, right? And again, this is stuff that we talked about earlier in the stream today, with the community. All right, so this was really good, but I am still in this trade, right? I closed out 50%. I made a nice little bag on this at around 130 pips, and now I'm just gonna see how this runner plays out, right? If we get stopped out at, in profit, cool. I still make some money, right? It's not at break even. I'm in profit, right? We went from entering down here. Once we broke this high right here, we rolled our stops to break even. Once we broke above this structure, see, then we started to really trail our position, right? So I'm already in a very good position itself because I closed majority of my trade, or at least 50% of my position up at these highs. So whatever this rest of this 50% happens to it, I mean, it is what it is. I don't really care at the end of the day. All right, but yeah, very interesting times for the Bank of Japan for sure. All right, very, very interesting times. All right, and it's going to be interesting to see what truly does end up coming from this whole thing with the Bank of Japan. All right, because they trying to shake things up, right? But they kind of have no choice. They can't continue to allow their currency to devalue, right? I mean, look at this market, guys. Look at this thing for USD JPY, right? Like, they have been getting toasted, right? All of 2021, all of 2022, they were getting destroyed, which is not good for them, right? That's going to affect them in a bunch of different areas, especially in global trade, right? Because now, since their currency has devalued, it's going to cost them a lot more to get regular items, right? Now they have to pay pretty much double or triple the price to get regular items, right? Like, for an example, right? It's just an example, right? Say the Bank of Japan back in 2021, it was costing, say they wanted to get a barrel of oil, right? I'm just using an example, right? A barrel of oil, and they were paying $1,000 for a barrel of oil. But because their currency got continuously devalued over the next 2 years, that same barrel of oil is now costing them $3,000, right? $2,000, $3,000, things like that, right? Because of what happens to their currency. And they just can't afford to do that. They can't allow that to happen. So we knew that they were going to eventually intervene. They tried numerous times. That didn't really do anything, right? But yeah, it's one of those things, guys, where they kind of have no choice, right? For the sake of their economy, right? For the sake of, their for the sake of everybody more than anything, right? So yeah, this is not a surprise. But again, the question that I have and the thing that I'm really concerned about is this just more of a Band-Aid? Right? Is this more of a Band-Aid? Is this something that they're just saying that they're going to do, right? And is it actually going to really continue to cause their currency to decline, yes or no? And only time will tell, right? Only time will tell to see what actually ends up happening. And again, I might be going against popular opinion, but I think that this really does not sustain itself. And as long as they are continuously keeping rates at negative, right? They're still at negative rates. So as long as they keep rates negative, and as long as they're continuously printing money while every other central bank is tightening, while they're easing and everybody else is tightening, in my opinion, of course, I think is going to continue to they're going to continue to get wrecked. Right? Again, that's just my opinion, right? But I believe they're going to continue to get wrecked. Now, I could be wrong, right? And if I'm wrong, it is what it is. All right, so that's just my thoughts on the yen itself. Right? Again, I know others that have various different opinions, and it is cool. So it's, like I said, it's just dope to have these conversations, right? It's dope to really just be able to come on here and just, share our thoughts, share our opinions, right? Bounce off ideas, and just really see what makes the most sense. Let's see what else we got here. Anybody know how to use the trend-based fibs with the 3 dots? I personally have never used that, so I can't even give you no inside scoop on that. Let's see, I got the day 3 able to do that. Come with the bootcamp Telegram. If you have just a solo video, I can add you guys into a specific Telegram for sure. But not the Telegram that's going to get grandfathered into my course, right? Because I have a specific channel for my community has purchased the entire bootcamp. And every single one that's in that community, in that Telegram, in my Pro Trader Bootcamp Telegram, they're all getting grandfathered into my course. So I can get you into a Telegram, but it's not going to be the one that gets you grandfathered into the course. All right, so let's see what else we got here. Look at 66J1. That's the actual yen index. Let's see what we got here. Let's see. The futures. Yeah, I'm going to look a little bit more into this one right here, into this chart. All right, to really see what it's all about for sure. All right, but I don't want to take no time right now to actually go ahead and try to break this stuff down. All right, so let's see. Took the EA reentry. Let's go EA. Okay. Let's see. EA gave that reentry. Let's see. Damn, EA came in there very quick too. Let me see. I'm actually going to add EA to my watch list. Hold on. Let me go ahead and just add this over here so I have it. Damn, it spiked in there very quick. Very, very quick. And we got a very nice reaction too. Now, let's see if this reaction can hold. Right, we got a very decent reaction, retesting the last sell-off candle, right? Last sell-to-buy candle down here. All right, so now it's just a matter of seeing if this actually can hold, and now this thing continues going bullish. That would be pretty dope. Right, especially for anybody that does go ahead and get involved. All right, so that's cool. That's interesting. All right, but besides that, though, family, I'm not sure if any of the guys have anything else that they want to go ahead and, put their input in. But for me, I'm pretty much good for the day, right? I'm just going to continue to ride out the rest of this GJ position, which is probably the only position that I'm actually in right now. So I'm just going to continue to let this thing play out. NAS, I'm out of this position as well. I did end up closing this position, right? Which, again, we took, and it's something that I already talked to you guys about. I'm out because now at this point, now that we're clearing these highs, right, there could be a very, very likely opportunity for us to actually see this thing sell off now, right? So I'm out of NAS. It was a very quick trade, very quick position. And now we can see this thing potentially really roll over to the downside as well, all right? So we'll see what happens with that ultimately. Let's see. We in the Telegrams 100%. Can you talk a little bit about funded accounts? I mean, I highly recommend funded accounts for anybody that's interested, in my opinion. Just because, again, And I'm not going to get too in depth in this, right? Because everybody's going to have their own thoughts and opinions on a funded account. But for me, I'm a big supporter of it, right? Just because what it allows you to do. And the biggest reason why I'm a big supporter of funded accounts is because you actually have perimeters that you have to follow, right? A big issue that most traders have is that when they deposit money into their account, they don't give themselves no realistic expectations while trading that account, right? You know, they're just trying to turn $100 into $1 million right away. And because they have no real expectations, no rules, no guidelines that they have to follow, they're very aggressive, right? So it's hard for you to actually, you know, create some type of discipline when you have no rules that you have to follow, right? So in my opinion, I like funded accounts because they give you rules and guidelines that you have to follow, which is helping you develop the correct habits as a trader, right? And I mean, it's just dope, right? It's just dope to be able to take these funded accounts, use other people's money to actually grow your money, right? I love using OPM, right? I'm a big supporter of using other people's money to really go ahead and really cash out, all right? I'm a big supporter of that, right? At the most, you're literally just risking 10%, right? You got to put up 10% of the account and you can get access to it, right? Now, what I mean by the 10%, guys, is, you know, if you get a $100,000 account, they only give you around 10 to 12% that you can actually lose before that account is now blown. Only 10 to 12% of the account balance, right? So if you're depositing I think it's like $200, $300 for something. No, I think it's like $500 for the 100K account, depending on which one you actually decide to go to, right? You pretty much got to pay that $500, and now you're getting access to pretty much $10,000, right? Because you got to take advantage of that 10 to 12%, which is not, yeah, right. So I don't know. I'm a big fan of it, personally speaking. Right. More of the story. I'm a big fan of it. Let's see. Which funded accounts providers would you suggest? So I know there's, again, everybody's going to say differently, but there are a lot of them out there that have been around for a while now, and I'm just going to really just promote the ones that have, you know, time under their belt, which is like FTMO is probably the most commonly known one. My Forex Fund is another really good one. That's probably my favorite one, My Forex Fund, just because it's cheaper and you get a lot better perimeters as well. You know, but there's a lot out there, guys, right? There's Top Tier, right? There's the Funded Trader. There's Instant. I mean, there's so many different out there nowadays, all right? I mean, don't be surprised in the future if you guys eventually see a Profit Society funded account in the future, right? Just because it is a dope model, right, to be able to help traders grow their, you know, their capital. But I would just stick with either My Forex Funds, FTMO, in my opinion, are the two name brand ones, right? The ones that have been around the longest, in my opinion, that have the most testimonials. I haven't really heard no issues from those ones, so those are the ones I would go with. Let's see. You're in GJ. I am in GJ, but I'm pretty sure the remainder of my position is probably gonna get stopped out. All right, because it's right here at these levels. If it doesn't, cool. I already secured a big bag up here at these highs around this 160.8. But yeah, I don't have too much faith in this actually holding. But I am technically in it still. Let's see. All right. But besides that, though, family, all right, I appreciate y'all so much. Thank you guys for rocking with us this morning. I think it was another dope conversations that we had. Dope way of you guys being able to analyze the markets with us in real time. And also take opportunities in real time as well, right? No matter the outcome, whether they're positive or negative, guys, it's all this experience that you guys are able to get now, right? Experience is one of those things that no mentor can teach you. I can't give you guys experience. I can't teach you guys experience, right? Gaining all this experience in real time is what you guys have to go through. And that's the biggest reason why, you know, you guys can get various different courses, various different mentors, learn the exact strategy of that mentor and still not see results. The biggest difference is just the experience that person has, right? So definitely go ahead and just continue, you know, jump on these calls, guys, jumping on these sessions, jumping on these live streams, just continue to gain these experience because it's gonna pretty much pay off in the long run, guaranteed, right? But besides that, family, I know I'm pretty much wrapped up. I don't think the guys got anything else to say as well, right? So family, we appreciate y'all for jumping on. Without you guys, we wouldn't be able to do this. We're definitely on the road to 2,000 subs now, right? And we're going to continue growing and getting better with this. And we're going to continue providing you guys with massive value, you know, so that we do become a household name in the trading space. And our goal is ultimately to create the most testimonials, all right? So we appreciate y'all. We love you guys. Thank you guys for rocking with us this morning. And we will talk to you guys all tomorrow morning. And, yeah, hope to see you guys all there. Let's get it, y'all. Have a great rest of y'all day.